It began with a sound that didn't belong in that quiet neighborhood. The growl of Harley engines, slicing through the peaceful afternoon air like thunder chasing sunlight. 4 riders appeared, their leather jackets bearing the blazing emblem of a motorcycle brotherhood. Shadows stretched long across the pavement as engines rumbled low. Curtains shifted. Doors closed. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Then, cutting through the noise, came a voice, small, trembling, and heartbreakingly pure. "Sir, will you buy my bike?" The bikers slowed, their engines fading into a steady hum. At the edge of the sidewalk stood a little girl, maybe 6 years old, hair tousled, cheeks dusty, holding a pink bicycle with a white basket. In her tiny hands was a cardboard sign that read, "For sale." One of the men, younger, quieter than the rest, shut off his engine and stepped forward. His name was Ryder, though his brothers called him Wolf. The nickname never quite fit. Behind his tattoos and scars was a man who'd known more loss than most. A father gone, a son buried, a faith in people long forgotten. He knelt before the girl, his shadow falling across her bike like a broken halo. Her eyes held something no child should carry: exhaustion. Behind her, under a fading oak tree, sat a woman, frail, pale, wrapped in a blanket. The little girl clutched her sign tighter. "Please, sir," she whispered. "My mom hasn't eaten in 2 days." Ryder's throat tightened. His brothers exchanged glances, Tank, Viper, and Mason. They'd seen that look before, anger wrapped in sorrow. Between sobs and pauses, the girl, Mira, explained everything. Her mother, Clara, once worked at a catering company owned by a man named Hensley. When the company downsized, Clara begged to stay just long enough to keep food on the table. But Hensley turned her away, calling her replaceable. Now, with no job and failing strength, Clara could no longer work. Bills stacked up. Pride kept her from asking for help. And so Mira decided to sell her only treasure, her bicycle, for food. Ryder felt something inside him snap, the final thread holding back years of buried rage. He reached into his vest, pulled out a wad of cash, and pressed it into the little girl's hand. "Keep the bike," he said softly. But as the engines roared to life again, he knew this wasn't over. The Hell's Angels weren't saints, but they believed in one thing, their kind of justice. They rode into the city, their engines echoing off the glass towers like thunderclaps. When they reached Hensley's office, a mirror of greed gleaming under the afternoon sun, they didn't storm in with fists or weapons. They simply walked, foreshadows moving with purpose. The receptionist froze as they entered. Behind the glass wall sat Mr. Hensley, polished and smug, gold watch gleaming, smile rehearsed. "What is this?" he asked sharply. Ryder said nothing at first. He just placed the little girl's cardboard sign, "For sale," on the man's spotless desk. "That," Ryder said quietly, "is what your greed costs." For once, Hensley didn't have words. Ryder told him about the starving mother beneath the tree, the child willing to give up her only joy to keep her alive. Hensley stammered excuses about business, but they died in his throat when he saw the fire in Ryder's eyes. They didn't hurt him. They didn't have to. Ryder simply leaned closer and said, "You can't buy forgiveness, but you can earn a second chance." By sunset, something in that man had changed. That same evening, the town heard news that the CEO, who once cast out a struggling mother, had quietly donated food, paid hospital debts, and rehired every worker he'd wronged. Only a few men on bikes and a little girl with a pink bicycle knew why. When the riders returned to that tree, Mira came running. Her mother stood now, weak but smiling, the kind of smile that can rebuild a broken heart. They shared bread together as the sun melted gold across chrome and grass. The little girl's cardboard sign lay folded in her lap, no longer a plea, but a memory of hope. Ryder looked at the mother and said softly, "You don't owe us anything. Just promise you'll never give up." That night, as the engines cooled and stars began to bloom across the sky, something shifted. For a moment, just a heartbeat, the world didn't seem so cruel anymore. If this story moved you, share it, because sometimes one small act of courage is enough to make the whole world believe in kindness again.